What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about a movie by the name of My Dead Friend Zoe. This is a early review for this movie. It'll be out February 28th. It stars Sonequa Martin Green, Natalie Morales, and two Hollywood legends in Ed Harris and Morgan Freeman. I went into this one literally having never heard of it. In fact, I never heard of it until the movie started because it was a surprise screen unseen AMC movie. And I love going into surprise movies like this. You don't know if it's going to be good. You don't know if it's going to be terrible. You don't know what it's going to be about. I don't even know if it's a horror movie, comedy, or what. That's always fun. But I wish I was a little more prepared because this is a PTSD movie. And there's a lot of military-centric stuff in this movie. I was in the Army and was deployed to Iraq. Now, this movie, they deploy to Afghanistan. The two soldiers in this movie are played by Natalie Morales and Sonequa Martin Green. And Natalie Morales plays Zoe, who, not a spoiler, it's in the title of the movie, and it's known throughout the movie. She is not even alive in this movie, yet she's still around. Well, she's around in flashbacks when we go back to Afghanistan, but she's also around in the daily life of our main character. I believe her name is Merritt, and she's played by Sonequa Martin Green. So clearly there's some major trauma, PTSD, something went down to cause the death of Zoe. She really can't come out with this. She can't talk about it. Zoe's around her all the time. She sees her. It's a literal imaginary friend for her. I mean, she's still around, and we know something insanely traumatic had to have happened, and they had a very close relationship, and so we don't get much of that information. That information is given to us slowly in flashback form. We're trying to figure out what exactly happened, and that's part of the drama of the movie, as well as the suspense of the movie. This is not an action movie. There's not a lot of action, but there's a lot of suspense because we don't know what happened, and we slowly learn more and more about that, leading to an amazing reveal. So that's all I'll say about that. This is going to be a non-spoiler review, although I think after I give my rating, I might go into just a couple of little spoilers. I'll warn you before I do that, just in case you haven't seen it. Probably haven't seen this one, depending when you're watching this video. We'll keep it vague for right now. I think the movie had that suspense. I think that the flashback scenes to the Army were really intriguing, although there's not, like I said, it's not a ton of action. You'd think military, war, there's going to be some explosions and stuff. Not a whole ton of action. You see their relationship. You see how they got along. Now, not all the dialogue and stuff between all the soldiers is my favorite kind of dialogue, and for the whole movie for that matter, some of it's kind of, I guess I call it more modern dialogue and a little bit of more modern humor sprinkled throughout this movie. A lot of it didn't really work for me. That's just me. I can tell when I do these reviews and when I review movies, newer movies, most people seem to love this kind of humor. So I think a lot of people will just love this movie all throughout. For me, it wasn't that funny. There was a couple of exceptions. There was a few jokes that landed that I laughed at, but by and large, I didn't find it funny, and by and large, some of the dialogue was pretty annoying. But thankfully, a lot of it wasn't. And I would definitely say when we have our two legends on screen, they were both fantastic. Morgan Freeman and Ed Harris. No problems with their dialogue. Luckily, they're not giving them some Gen Z stuff. No, they're talking like they would talk, and they're both obviously amazing in their respective roles. I wish they were on screen a little more, especially Morgan Freeman. And our two main leads, they were great as well, as far as delivering their lines and their acting performance and their facial expressions, and all that was on point. Just some of the script itself, certain lines of dialogue, just certain conversations, certain humor didn't quite work for me. But I think it will for the vast majority. But I still really like the movie. I think it's a really well done film on PTSD. It's a unique take on PTSD. It's not your typical went to war, saw a bunch of people dead, explosions, now I'm back and now I'm shell shocked, now I need help. I mean, yes, she did need help. She had some serious form of PTSD for sure. She didn't want to open up. She was going to group therapy. She was supposed to go because she had committed a crime that had to do with what she's experiencing with her PTSD and her delusions and things like that. Even though she knew she was delusionary, she knew she was seeing this girl who was no longer alive, and the girl would even acknowledge that she's no longer alive.
Burl. Damn, what a name.
Don't say that.
What? I can joke about the dead. These are my people.
So she knew she had a problem, but she just had trouble opening up, whether in group or anywhere else. She tried to open up to this sort of love interest that she meets, and his name is Alex. She runs into her first at a cemetery and then just the next day where he works. You know, I've seen this a lot in movies, these coincidences. You meet someone in a coincidence in just a certain setting, you leave, and the next day in a professional setting, you bump into each other again. I'm seeing this in movies now a lot. I don't know what's going on with this coincidence, but they meet each other casually, coincidentally, and then they bump into each other again in a professional setting, and this sort of possible romance kicks off, and they kind of like each other. Well, the guy definitely likes her. He's a little forthcoming with asking her out. A little cringe for me. Again, some of this modern stuff not working totally for me, but hey, he's supposed to add a little comic relief. Didn't find him particularly funny. That's just me. But he does play an important role in the movie, and certainly some of his actions are going to cause major events to break down in this movie, and so he's important to the movie. He does a good job with what he's given and everything, and he's kind of got a funny delivery, and there's a couple of maybe some chuckles from him, but I didn't find him particularly funny. I guess that's the big criticism for me personally. I didn't find the movie as funny as I think it wanted to be, but I found the movie really great as far as its script and its story and the way it tells the story on PTSD and certain scenes and military scenes. There's a military event they go to. So if you're ex-military, I'm ex-military, and I'm not super like hyped army type. I don't go to a whole lot of events and things like that, but there's some stuff in this movie that could make you feel proud to have served. So I think it is a movie for veterans, and it could help people with PTSD, whether by being a veteran or not, kind of teaching you to open up and be able to talk about the problem. That's what these group therapies are for, and you can be able to express your issues and what's going on. And all that aside, I just found it to be a really compelling movie. I found it to be a compelling plot, and I was curious the entire time what the heck happened. And when you hit that reveal, it's just like a lot of stuff is like, you know, a little bit of a mind-blowing scene there towards the end. So that's all I'll say about that. I think the movie is to me, it's good, not great. That's my personal opinion. I know it has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I think most people, if I can tell the humor of people today, they're going to love this movie, because it's going to be not only a great story, not only is it going to be compelling, not only is there going to be some serious tension and drama and suspense, but it's also going to be hilarious for a lot of people. It's going to be the whole package, and it's going to hit on all cylinders. I think people are going to love this movie. I personally think it's good, not great for me. It's a movie I will watch again someday, but probably not something I'm going to watch a lot. So good, not great is my score. I want to talk about a couple of quick spoilers here. So be warned, we're going into spoiler territory. I mean, this is actually some serious spoilers right here, to be honest. So serious spoilers, here we go. Okay, spoiler. It turns out, and this was a amazing, I'm going to talk about the actual reveal here. If you haven't seen it and you want to see it, don't continue. But the reveal at the end of this movie turns out that, because the whole time you're thinking her friend is going to meet her demise in Afghanistan, right? There's going to be an explosion, there's going to be an attack, there's going to be an ambush, something's going to happen, especially when she starts acting crazy when they're on a patrol, when they're on a guard, and she starts acting crazy and walking out there like to prove that she's not scared. She's doing some stupid things, which, by the way, I didn't find too believable, but I guess any one soldier could be crazy and do something stupid. That's for sure. But it turned out that's not how she died. How she died was she got out of the military, which was just really just something I didn't see coming. But she was convinced to get out of the military by her friend, the girl that ended up with PTSD. Merritt actually convinced ZOEY to get out. Now, they were having conversations, and ZOEY was like, look, I'm thinking about re-enlisting. She's like, why would you even consider? She's like, well, because it's an option. That's true. It is an option. It's definitely an option. Merritt convinced her that, you know what, have confidence in yourself. You can get out. We're going to stay close. We're going to find a way. I'll be there for you if you need me. But, you know, you obviously doesn't seem like you like the Army that much. Why don't you get out? Get out of the Army. She convinced her to get out. And it was a huge mistake to do that, because when she got out, things weren't working out. When she called Merritt for help, Merritt didn't answer the phone. She's like, didn't even answer the phone, which is crazy, but she was busy and just didn't think that she needed to answer the phone. And ZOEY ends up committing suicide. This is the massive plot twist right here and the big reveal, and it was really well done. It was pretty damn epic and unexpected. Now, having said that, it was a really cool twist. The thing that kind of bugged me about it, to be just totally honest, is you got Merritt telling her dead friend ZOEY, look, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have told you to get out. I shouldn't have told you to get out. I was like, hold up. I don't think this was the message the movie exactly wanted to get across, but in a way you could interpret this as, you should re-enlist. If you're thinking about re-enlisting, you should re-enlist. Now, I don't think that was the total message, but that when ZOEY says, like, I shouldn't have told you to get out. No, that really wasn't the problem. You should have answered the phone. You should have answered the phone. You should have been there for your friend. But I just know that when I was in the Army, I served with many people who clearly hated the Army, probably worse than I did, and they were still thinking about re-enlisting. And it was almost scary watching this because I had such similar conversations with them talking about, look, you're just scared. You're just scared where you're going to get your next meal, where you're going to get your next bed, where you're going to sleep, how you're going to pay your rent, how you're going to do that. I get it's scary, but you hate this. I hate this. I'm getting out. First opportunity. You hate this. And I tried to convince people to get out. Now, they never listened to me. They all re-enlisted. Everyone I tried to convince to get out re-enlisted, so maybe that's for the best. But I know I got out, and I felt like I would make it. I would be okay. And I have been, I'm here. And so I don't think she did anything wrong by urging her friend to get out. I think she should have answered her phone and been there for her, and I can get why she regretted that. Maybe in this particular story, it all makes sense, but I just didn't want people to watch this and take anything away from it like, oh yeah, make sure those soldiers need to re-enlist. They can't make it out there. No, they can make it, although a lot of them don't, and suicide is common among veterans. Just continuing to re-enlist is not always the answer either if they're totally miserable and they hate their job. So I didn't love that about it. I will say the one line that I found funny, and I didn't want to spoil this. I didn't want to spoil any of the humor, but you got Ed Harris's character, and he's the grandfather. He's old. He's got early Alzheimer's, and he's starting to wander and everything. And Merritt and her mom are trying to arrange him to go to a nursing home. When he finds out about this, he's pissed. He's like, that ain't effing happening. He's staying at his house with his lake, and that's it. And that's how he feels about it. He's absolutely not going. He's refusing to go to this nursing home ever. And they're still trying to figure out how to make it work. The mom's even there filling the paperwork like they're doing this. He's saying he's not going. Finally, Merritt finds a way to make it work. She's going to stay with her grandfather and take care of him, make sure that he can stay there, and she's going to help take care of him and the place. When they go to tell him the news that he can stay there, it's just the funniest scene in the movie to me. I'm not saying my delivery is going to be as good as Ed Harris, but I'm in spoilers, so hopefully you've already seen it. But Mara goes up to him and tells him, "Good news, Grandpa, you're not going to the nursing home," and he says, "No shit." That's it. Because obviously he already knew he's not going. He ain't going, regardless of what they say. He may have understood, yeah, you're not going to make me go, but I wasn't going anyway. So that was the funniest line of the movie to me. Obviously, I didn't find the movie particularly funny, but you know what? Good, not great, and a great story and a great script and great potential. For me, I think I could have rewritten the script one more time. I think if they just kind of avoided some of that modern humor, modern dialogue, some stuff was said. It's in the trailer where she says, like, what does she say? They're arguing, and ZOEY says, like, look, the world's not my oyster. And then Merritt says, like the world's my oyster. I'm a black woman in America. And it's in the trailer. And it's like, well, first of all, this is not 1958. Nobody's being held back here in this country because of the color of their skin. I mean, very, very rarely. You'll have just as much opportunity as anyone else, but that's not even it. That's a very modern line, of course. I can't see a soldier. I can't see someone of her personality even saying that. She's not someone who makes a lot of excuses and plays the race card. And I just don't see her saying that. And that was just thrown in there, and I just thought it was out of place. And like, I don't know why those kind of lines have to be in modern movies when it's not even accurate. It's truly not accurate, in my opinion. You can say, well, you're not black, you don't know. I live here, and I'm out in the world every single day with everyone else. Okay, we all understand that racism is not prominent anymore out there when it comes to getting jobs and having a career path. If anything, you might get a little extra push because of diversity hires and things like that. Let's just keep it all the way 100. So other than that, though, some of those lines and things like that kind of bothered me, but I really like this movie. I think it's a really good movie, and I think it's good, not great for me. Really good, but still not quite great. And that'll do it for this review. Let me know what you guys think. Hit that comment section down below and let me know if you've seen it, if you're going to see it. Maybe you're watching this video after it's come out on February 28th. If so, let me know your thoughts down below, and we will talk to y'all in the next one.